Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Since the format I did in the last video showing the windows and the doors seemed to be popular, I'm going to show you the finished project in this video, and then we'll get into how it was done. This is related to the windows and doors in that we made trim to go over the brick mold for all of the doors so that we can put the rock up against it and not have fear of the wood rotting out. It's kind of hard to see detail, I think, with the white on white and the lighting and the camera, but we used a coil stock, which you'll see in the video as we're doing this, to bend all of this molding to fit around the doors. It's just on the outside on the brick mold on the front door and on the French doors, and then on the other doors it goes further inside the casing and tucks in behind the weather stripping that seals the door. So I'll take you around and kind of show you the finished project, and then we'll get into the doing of it, which was quite tedious and aggravating because I've done this once on much simpler stuff on the garage doors with our contractor, and he left his brake here and I went ahead and did this metal work. This project started out wrapping these garage doors, and it was pretty simple. This was, well, I say it was pretty simple. It was kind of a pain because of the width, but we did this working with our contractor, and it just wraps around the opening to clean it up and give a place for the rock to tuck in against this door facing without having mortar and stuff up against the wood. And then, you know, of course, on the inside, the garage door seals against the face of it where the weather stripping is. Now, this is the first door you'll see me working on in the video. And the thing that you're trying to do is get coverage and cover up all of the gaps. So this vertical piece, there's a tab that folds out here and here, and then a tab that folds over the top, and then your top piece sits down over it. You know, mitered at a 45 to close everything up. But this one is a little bit different than the front door and the French door because your metal starts on the outside against the wall, wraps all the way around the brick mold, and then comes and tucks in behind this weather stripping to lock everything in place. And it basically, you overbend it a little bit and it kind of clamps down on there and holds it on this side, and then the nails hold it against the facing on the outside. Now, the French doors on the back porch are the ones you're going to see us fighting with quite a bit. And the reason is this one is a little bit different than the front door. The sides are the same. It's just a straight cut, and it tucks back in behind these hinges and then gets nailed on the outside. But the top, I made that so that it would wrap around and tuck in behind the brick mold. And it was aggravating, to say the least, to try to get this thing wrapped around and tucked in here. And because of the fight, I did end up denting this one a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a major issue, you know, once the rock's up against it and it's broken up visually. And they're the two doors side by side, two different types of molding. You know, I think for a new skill development and the first time doing it, it turned out all right. I figure we can live with it. Today I'm working on learning a new skill. We need to wrap our door openings with this PVC coated aluminum coil stock so I can put the rock up against it and not have a fear of rotting the wood out. I made a couple of test pieces. I made a small test piece just to see if I could make it work. And I made a bigger test piece. It is kind of a pain using this bender to get some of these bends because they're less than a ½ inch. They're like 3/8 of an inch. And they actually end up being somewhere between 3/8 and 7/16 just because of the way this clamps down. But I'll take you over here and show you how this piece fits on there so you can get an idea of what we're doing. So this piece goes on here, wraps around and tucks in behind the weather seal. And this piece that I've made is actually for the top, but I wanted to bend something a little shorter before I tried to bend the full piece. And that's how it fits. You push it down and we'll put trim nails in the outside to hold it, and the inside should pretty much hold itself because of the bends. And then the door closes and I guess it'll look all right. It'll protect it anyway. But this is a fiddly pain to do. All right, so this is the coil stock. I need 82 3/4 inches to do the side, but I'm going to cut it long because you've got to kind of cut it and fit stuff together. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this and then mark it for the first 2 bends, which you'll see that it's basically that 3/4 lip that goes against the wall, and it'll stiffen the piece up and make it a lot easier to handle. And they make a bypass cutter that's a couple of wheels that makes cutting this stuff a lot easier. But since I don't do this for a living, I don't have one. Or the first thing we've got to do is get this cut down to size, and about 9 inches is the right dimension. And this is one of those things that's a lot easier with 2 people. But I don't have two people. And the way you cut this is you just score it with a utility knife and then bend it until it breaks. Unless you have one of those roller cutters. Okay, so our first bend is that 3/4 inch hem on the outside edge. So and then to finish closing that hem up, here. put another piece on the top here. And then close it up. And try not to do that. Try not to do that. Thankfully, that's not going to be exposed. Once we get another bend in it, it'll stiffen up quite a bit. Come on. Okay. Now it's stiffened up quite a bit. The biggest challenge is figuring out and remembering whether you need to do the painted side up or down when you're doing these bends, and it's a pain. Okay, so we were going to get the fit at the bottom because this sill slopes down to the outside edge is I'm going to take one of these test pieces and I'm going to make a pattern. And the way that I'm going to do that is put this test piece on here all the way down at the bottom, and then take a set of calipers, dividers, whatever you want to call them, and get my distance between the bottom of this test piece and the bottom of this, and then use this to scribe the trim to give me a cut line. This will be trimmed just a touch more. Now I've got a pattern to mark the bottom of the piece that needs to go on this side. What I've done is got the measurement on the inside of that door frame to where the corner is going to go. Now I'm adding an inch to it to give me a tab to bend over and close up that corner. And bear in mind, I've seen this done once. I've never done it myself, so I'm hoping this is going to work out. I need to cut this and hope it's right. All right, it's a little tight, so I need to trim this bottom a little bit more. This piece is narrower than the stuff I was bending earlier because it's going on the French door on the back porch, and it doesn't go all the way inside the casing and wrap around the inside of the jamb. It's actually stopped by the hinges on both sides. Since it's an outswing door, the hinges are on the outside, and you can't wrap all the way around. I mean, you could, but it'd take a lot of cutting and fiddling. So I'm gonna slip this in between the hinge and the door casing and wrap it around the outside. That's the piece that I need to make for the French door instead of having the continuing around. Okay, now that I've got this trim broken for this door, I went ahead and loosened the screws in the hinges to give me room to slide it between the hinge and the brick mold. Now I need to get it set and mark the inside corner so I can trim it. Okay, so I've got what I think is the correct dimension to go inside this opening. Now I'm going to increase that dimension by 1 inch to give me a tab to fold over to close up the corners. And that'll be my actual cut line.
like it over there. It might be over here too.
Well, it's either going on or we're destroying it, one of the two, because it's not, just stop. Oh, apparently I
Yeah,
dented that. Damn it.
yeah.
Oh well.
And there's a,
Once it's got rock up against it, are you gonna really notice it?
it was helping when you had that wedge just right there.
Yeah. Tried to make it too tight.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you don't want to redo it.
Oh, no, because if I do, I gotta rip all of it off and start over.
You can't just do the top.
Because it's gonna tear the sides up getting it out there. Because I already tore them up getting it in. Unless you want to redo it, I can talk you through how to do it, and I'll go make dinner.
Here's the,
All right, folks, that's going to wrap this video up for today. Hopefully you found it interesting and useful. It's a tedious and time-consuming process to do this, and you know, I don't know if it was worth the aggravation of doing it myself, but I wanted to see if I could do it. If you've got the desire, anybody could do this. If you don't want to learn it, I'd recommend just paying somebody to do it. You know, you're gonna have to make that call yourself. But anyway, this is gonna wrap this video up. Thank you for watching, and y'all have a good day.